Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is going to be a good old will I buy it, where we look at these new and upcoming makeup releases together, and I will be sharing my thoughts on what I plan to pick up and what I'm steering well clear of and everything in between. So without further ado, let's get started. So kicking us off, we have the Urban Decay Face Bond Long Lasting Powder Blush Suede. A lot of words in there. The description is alarming me, I won't lie to you. A long-lasting blush with suede soft feel, a blurred matte finish and a waterproof, sweat-proof and fade-resistant formula, delivers up to 24 hours of rich colour. Everything about this, from the look of the blushes, from that description to these swatches, is saying desert dry to me. Bone dry, not a drop of moisture to be seen. So this is immediately no. Immediately no. You guys have already heard me say I'm just not interested in matte blushes anymore. The only matte blushes I want to see in 2025 in this house is those that say they're matte but are in fact not, like a luminous matte or a soft matte or a modern matte. You know, these words that people like to bandy about, which essentially mean not matte. Those are the only matte blushes I want to see this year, the ones that in fact are not really matte. These look very matte, matter than matte. Waterproof 24-hour blushes, that just sounds like my worst nightmare. I just immediately want it off my face. The colours aren't particularly inspiring. Situationship and Back Talk I think are the most interesting shades on these arms. Those two actually look like something a bit different, something quite pretty, but that flat matte, very dry looking formula is putting me right off my breakfast. So it's a no from me, an easy no. I feel like these will be someone's dream. Probably an oily skinned friend may love these because you have your own oils sort of helping you out, whereas I feel like these are going to look like the Sahara dry aging desert on my skin. But you know, not everything has to be for me and my skin type. So if you're excited about these, I'm excited for you. They're just my worst personal nightmare, and I don't know why Urban Decay had to attack me in this way. Next up, something much more up my street, are these new YSL Hyper Luminize powders. According to Trend Mood, these are available now in Europe, but here I am and I can't find them anywhere. I'd love her to be a little more specific than a whole continent. So these are 3 shades of a creamy powder highlighter that they claim melts into the skin upon application and has light reflecting micro beads. Yes, now this is my love language. I'm a very easy beast, okay? Start using words like pearls and luminize and I'm on board. These look very pretty and they have that stunning YSL packaging that they've moved over to, and I think is just gorgeous and I love it. I wish, if I'm being really picky and fussy, which I usually am, I do wish that, like the blushes, they had done a different colour on the top depending on the shade of the highlighter, which it doesn't look like they have done from this, but you know, that's just splitting hairs. The rest of this looks delightful to me. I would like to see some swatches because 3 shades, they all look very light, but I don't know how much base colour they have. So if these are all very sheer, then perhaps I can get on board. I hope these aren't all as light as they appear, in which case we've got an inclusivity issue, but I'm hoping that, as per the description, it sounds like it might be something without a lot of base and a lot of colour, so they might be more versatile than the shades kind of make them appear. But I will let you know as soon as these arrive. I'm going to be trying at least one of these, probably the pink. That one is calling my name. I think that that white one looks a little alarming, a little terrifying, a little white, potentially chalky. But we'll see. I'm very excited to try them. They look beautiful and right up my street, and I can't get enough of that packaging from YSL. Just want to package my entire life in it, to be honest. Do they make a dress with it? I don't know. If not, then they should do that. Next up, let's talk about this Chanel collection that I spoke about in my You Do Not Need That video, but I thought I would share my own personal thoughts and plans for this collection. And that current plan is to skip it altogether. Nothing here is just screaming my name, which is surprising because we've got a Chanel triple trio of blushes with this stunning camellia print there. But something about that blush, it's not speaking to me. I have seen swatches, they're quite underwhelming. I think these blushes in here are matte for some reason. If this had been glowy, it would have been a different, we'd have been having a very different conversation right now. It would have been an yes, yes, yes. I'm outside queuing, I'm camping outside. I'll be there the moment the doors open. And by doors, I mean website, because I'm not going outside for anybody, but especially not for Chanel. So I don't know whether it's the matte appearance of the finish or whether it's the colours that it's just not quite tickling my pickle, you know, and it should, because these look all sort of peachy and corally, which are typically my shades. And I do like the flower print. I don't know what it is. It must be the matteness of it all. That's the only reasonable explanation. There's just nothing alluring me about this. I feel the same way about the eyeshadows. Chanel kind of fall into the same box as Tom Ford eyeshadows and Dior eyeshadows for me, that they just always seem slightly underwhelming. For my personal preferences, they're always a little soft, always a little less impactful than I like my eyeshadows to be. So that's an easy pass. I feel like, again, if these eyeshadow pans were flat and they didn't have the camellia in there, I wouldn't even have cast my eye upon it. Consideration. But the flower is making me think it's more interesting than it is, I think. And actually, I think this whole collection is an easy pass. Save my money. I know for a fact there are going to be much more exciting spring releases than this. I feel like this is a very basic collection with some camellias thrown at it to fool our brains into thinking otherwise, and I for one am not falling for that. Next up, this Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Glass Artistry Mask. This is one of the most innovative makeup launches I can remember having seen or heard about in many a year. Now, of course, last year, Pat McGrath's makeup looks, was it the Margiela? I can't remember the house, the fashion house where she did this makeup for the runway, but it went crazy. Everybody was losing their marbles. It was so artistic, so creative, and so effective. That glass doll-like skin that made the makeup completely bulletproof. So clever. Exactly the sort of artistic choice that made Pat McGrath as well known and respected as she is. So of course she had to create this product because the internet lost its marbles. Am I going to buy this? Obviously not. Now, I like glowiness as much as the next girl, if not probably more than most of the next girls. But this is going too far for the average lady on the school run, okay? I can't walk down the street looking like this, but do I think this is incredible, so clever, so artistic, and the makeup artists of the world are just losing their marbles over this, and I'm just love it. I can't wait to see everybody's looks using this because it's very much an artistry product. It's clearly not for the average person, you know, getting ready to go to the office. But of course, it's very on brand, I feel like, for Pat McGrath, something so artistic and innovative and game-changing. I'm really glad she released this. Of course, I'm not going to buy it, but I can't wait to see what people do with this who are much more clever than I am and gifted and more artistic and creative with makeup, because I think it just looks so incredible. Even on a very basic makeup look, this added on top becomes just so visually stunning and eye-catching and editorial. I love to see it in use, but not on my own face, if you see what I mean. Next up, we're getting a new concealer from Shiseido. This is going to be the I nearly swore. The Shiseido Synchro Skin Radiant Lifting Concealer. Whew. Perhaps I shouldn't buy this after all. So this is one of my all-time favorite foundations, the Radiant Lifting Foundation. Absolutely love that foundation. I love all of Shiseido's foundations. I feel like they really do undertones very, very well. And I've loved all of their foundations, and the Radiant Lifting I think is still my favourite from them. So I'm very excited. I don't typically get so excited about a stick concealer. In the same way, I don't get excited typically about stick foundations, but then Dior came along and said, here's a stick we think you'll like, and they were right. So I'm a bit more open to a stick these days. And so I'm definitely going to give this one a try. It sounds right up my street. I do like a stick concealer for travel. It feels so convenient, and for touch-ups. So I feel like this could really be a very good one, a very practical solution for lots of people. So I will definitely test this out. It says summer 2025, so no doubt it will be here any day now. Next up, we have some more Dior highlighters. These are apparently the Dior Skin Forever Glow Luminizer and is available in 5 colours. It is a gel powder highlighter that infuses the skin with light veil and transparency. I think that might be a slight lost in translation moment. Transparent gel base that diffuses pure light with a high blend of fine micro pearls. Suits you, sir. A delicate glow and brightness. Count me, you had me at pearls, okay? You didn't have to keep going, but you did. So I'm relieved to read this description because it appears that this, like I hope the YSL are, it appears that this one has not that much base, and therefore the shade range, which again looks very light, may work for more skin tones than it appears that it will if it is indeed a more sheer shade. Also sounds very soft and subtle. I feel like when I first saw these pictures, I was a no. I've got so many Dior Luminizers and they are all very similar, very samey. So I just don't need any more. I do love this packaging. Much like YSL, Dior have like clocked what we like and have been giving us more and more of it, which I'm really enjoying. I like the fact that Dior have actually gone with the different shades of the packaging. So if you buy more than one shade, it's easy to know which one you're reaching for. Some of the shades though, the lids are a little, I'm not sure about the silver one, for example. So I like some of the packaging more than some of the others. As far as the shades, I'm drawn to those sort of rosier, the peachy shade and the rosy shade. Both of those look very pretty. I may pick these up for review purposes because they do sound like they are different, because typically the Dior highlighters are quite intense and quite metallic. These sound like they're going to be a bit more luminous, pearlescent, softer. So I may prefer these to the other Dior highlighters that I've tried, which are all fine and I enjoy them all, but they never become an all-time favorite that I use every day. So these could be it. They sound on description like they could be, but the proof will be in the pudding, you know. Next up, we have 6 eyeshadow palettes coming from Charlotte Tilbury, and the positive that I'm trying to hold in my heart, that if I have been indeed kicked off Charlotte Tilbury's PR, like proper PR list, like I suspect I may have been, I don't have to sign any NDAs, so I can talk about these even though they haven't been officially announced yet, which I haven't been able to do with Charlotte Tilbury for a little while, so that's the positive. Of course, I will be buying these, okay? At least 2 or 3 of these. The green, immediately yes. Immediately yes. That looks stunning, right up my street. Greens and khakis that are wearable, but in Charlotte Tilbury formulas. Yes, please. My second favourite, I think, is the Night Neutral palette. That looks gorgeous right up my street. Really, really love the look of that. And then the blue, which is not typically a colour story I go for a lot, but I'm hoping that this could be the replacement for my Natasha Denona 5 pan that I've been teasing you guys with for years now. I want to see if that has similar shades. It looks quite smoky. Those blues, a lot of them look quite soft. I feel like that could be like a wearable blues palette. So those are the 3 I'm most drawn to. I've seen swatches of most of these and they look stunning formula wise. I know there's been a lot of uproar and dissent and disgust and horror. That's right, horror about this packaging, which of course is quite atypical for Charlotte Tilbury. You know, usually she goes really over the top, glitzy, chintzy, very lots of hearts and sparkles and stars and gold is Charlotte Tilbury's aesthetic. This is wildly different to her regular packaging, and I think because the brand have not sort of released any information about these, they've just been sort of leaked early. We don't have, you know, the real information on it yet. But to me, as soon as I saw these pictures being leaked everywhere, my first thought was of the Dior Backstage line. You know, Dior has their regular black packaging eyeshadow palettes, and then they have their Backstage range, which is designed with makeup artists in mind so that they can store and see what they've got in their kit more clearly and easily and quickly when they're working backstage, fashion shows, very quick, fast, high pressured environments. That's exactly what I thought of when I saw this packaging. I sort of thought, oh, Charlotte Tilbury is creating a Backstage-esque line within her range, which I think is an excellent idea. I'm not cross about the packaging. Would I have preferred the gorgeous, stunning gold and sparkles and a mirror? Yes, I would personally, but I'm not cross about these. They'll take up a lot less space and be a lot more travel friendly, so I'm not really furious about it. I think this packaging kind of has its place and has its purpose, and if I'm right and it is sort of created with artists in line, it's going to be really popular, and one that I think a lot of makeup artists will love and appreciate, being able to see, you know, which palette is which without opening them all, and having it be really easy to store a lot of them in a kit. So that's where I think, that's my best guess as to where Charlotte Tilbury is going with this packaging. I don't think this is like a move to make all her packaging less luxe. I just think she's maybe doing a makeup artist line. I think maybe this is just sort of more targeted towards makeup artists than consumers, and I'm not cross about it because I am running out of room. So these will be lovely little space savers. As I said, I don't know where I stand at this point with Charlotte Tilbury as the brand. I don't know if I'll receive these in PR. If I was to receive them, I will review all of the shades for you, of course, but I don't think I'm going to, in which case I will purchase the three: the green, the neutral, the more sort of cool neutral, and the blue, and I am really excited for these. Next up, we have a new foundation coming from Lawless. So this is a brand I'm not hugely familiar with because they're not really available very easily here in the UK, but I have heard on the grapevine, a little birdie told me that Lawless are coming to the UK very soon. They may even be here as we speak. I don't think they're here. I mean here in the country somewhere, not specifically in this room. I think it's fine. So I'm quite excited to see and try some things from Lawless because I don't think I've ever tried anything from this brand. So this is the Forget the Filler foundation, a skin plumping and line smoothing foundation. Full coverage that is undetectable, skin smoothing, glow enhancing, weightless, fragrance free and vegan foundation. A lot of good stuff in there. I want to be plumped and smoothed and made to glow with a full coverage that is undetectable and weightless. This all sounds lovely, I have to say. I don't know what Lawless's shade range in undertones is typically like, but I am excited to try this. And that same little birdie from earlier, you know, the one, told me that this might be on its way to me right now, so. Next up, Bobbi Brown are coming out with a new Like a Balm lipstick line that leads to fresh and plump lips. Now, a year ago, this would have been a skip over. I'm not really a Bobbi Brown girl. These days, I am a Bobbi Brown girl, okay? They changed my mind. And I actually now see this and I'm really excited about it. This looks right up my street. I love this packaging. Simple and clean, but elegant and pretty at the same time. I love it. I love the look of the shade range. We've got some pretty more spring colors and lots of nudes and neutrals, which I love. The finish looks really juicy and pretty as well, and it reminds me of all of those lip formulas that I love so much. The YSL, the Dior Addicts, my Lisa Eldridge Balm Embraces. This looks along those lines, so I'm really excited to try these. This is a yes from me. It's giving me all of my favorite buzzwords when it comes to lip products, and Bobbi Brown is now a brand that I know makes great products and underrated products, so I will definitely be trying a couple of these and reporting back. We also have a whole new line of lipsticks from Hermes, the Brilliant Silky lipsticks. I'm less excited about these. I don't know, the packaging does look great. I love the look of that. Hermes always has really nice packaging. There's always a lot of red in Hermes's lipstick lines, and none of those more red shades are really appealing to me. There's also a lot of orange and a lot of pink, and not a lot of neutrals or shades that I'm particularly drawn to. They look okay. There's not a lot, again, really exciting me about these. For some reason, the Bobbi Brown is really calling my name a bit more than these. That one I'm kind of on the fence about. I'll wait for a review, maybe wait for swatches. Right now, I don't feel that enthused about them for some reason. More lipstick, they're coming. It's coming out of our ears. I feel like the next couple of months is going to be for lipstick what January was for foundation. So buckle up, hold your horses. Now, these are the by Terry Rouge Opulent refillable lipsticks. Now, I think I'm trying not to look directly at this, and I'll tell you why. I think this packaging is stunning for most people. I think it's gorgeous. Unfortunately, I have trypophobia, and this is really activating that for some reason, because I don't think those are holes. I think they're like bumps, but I'm not looking closely at it, so I couldn't tell you. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in. Yeah, it's not holes. They're like sort of, I don't know, like a grid, but from here, it's really unpleasant to look at, I can tell you. So I'm just trying to look at the swatches and the bullets without looking directly at it. If you have trypophobia, is this triggering it for you, or is it just me? I can't tell. But my brain has decided that it's holes and it isn't liking it. These look quite matte. They do look like they have a really nice amount of pigmentation to them, but none of the shades, again, are really speaking my name. There's a lot of red and pink. Again, not really my shades, not a lot of neutral options, and I can't look directly at it, so it's going to have to be a no from me for the weirdest reason I think that has ever come up in one of these videos. Next up, we have a new mascara coming from Armani Beauty. This is called the Vertical Lift Mascara, and take a look at that brush, because my little heart is beating, okay? And it's not just the perimenopausal heart palpitations this time. This packaging is sexy to me. That brush, immediately I'm looking at that and I know that's going to give me gorgeous long length and separation. I can feel it from here. That's right up my street. Yes, count me in. This claims to give you buildable length and defined volume, as well as separating each lash. And I said yes, okay? You don't have to keep talking dirty to me. I said I'd buy it, all right? Take my money right now. Next up, we have more lippies. I tried to warn you, but would you listen? No. These are the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb Sticks. Wait, what? We already have these. It's a new finish. So these are the existing Gloss Bomb Sticks, but in 6 new shades with a shimmery finish by the looks of it. Now, when I first saw Fenty doing like the sneak peeks of this coming, I was very excited. And then when we had the reveal with the swatches, I was not excited. My excitement had gone. It had passed. It had left me. Because zooming in on these swatches, they do look quite glittery. I can almost feel the graininess on my lips. And I really like the original Gloss Bomb lipsticks. A couple of them are permanently in my handbag, along with 48 other friends for company. But I think I would just prefer to stick with those. There's not a lot of shades appealing to me here. They're all a little frightening. And the sort of more like corally shades, they look so glittery. I just don't think this is for me. I'm not really a glittery lip kind of girl. So yeah, this is a pass. I do love the original finish, but I think I'd rather stick with that one, if that's okay with you. Next up, we have some new eyeshadow palettes from Victoria Beckham Beauty. It's been a while, hasn't it? So she's releasing 4 new eyeshadow palettes, and these are refills. So you have to buy or you don't have to buy, like, no one's going to force you, but the idea is that you buy the compact for £24 and then a refill from the 4 options for £47. For a grand total of £71. But of course you could just buy the refill. I don't know what the refill packaging would be, but either way, it's an expensive little number, isn't it? There are 4 colour stories. We have a blue, a more sort of cool neutral, and then a warmer and an olive green option. Initially, when I saw these, I was quite excited. I don't know what happened to me, but I did all of my retailer checks that I do every morning. When I wake up, that's the first thing I do to start my working day, is to check all of the retailers for any new products, any new launches, etc. And when I saw these on Selfridges, if I had gone back into the past and predicted my reaction, I would have said, she'll snap a couple right up. But that's not what happened. My prediction was wildly incorrect. I saw them. I saw that the blue was out of stock, which again, I thought could be another option for our Natasha Denona 5-pan. It looks kind of along those smoky blue, more wearable blue options. So I thought this could be it. It's back. That one was out of stock, and I don't know if that's what set us off to a bad start. When I saw that probably the most interesting of the 4 colour stories was out of stock, very annoying. And then I went to look at the olive, which is definitely the second most interesting colour story there for me. I didn't add it to basket, I just looked at it and I passed it by, and I'm not sure what it is, but I just wasn't driven over into Purchase Town, over the fence from Decision Field into Purchase Town. It didn't happen. I stayed on this side of the fence, and I'm not quite sure what it was that was stopping me, you know, tipping over and adding to basket. I don't know what it is. There's just something not quite clicking. It could be that the one that I thought was the most interesting, that could be of the most interest to you guys, was the blue, and it was out of stock. And maybe then I got cross inside. Maybe once I got annoyed at that fact, I wasn't interested anymore. It could be something as simple as that. I am a complicated lady, and there's just, you know, anything can set me off at any minute. The chocolatey colour story is quite pretty as well. I feel like it's maybe a bit richer than I typically wear, that sort of colour story. There's not a lot of light and shade there, especially as the shimmer is quite dark. And then the sort of cooler neutral, again, it's got a couple of really dark shadows in there, so that's not really for me either. So I think the 2 that are kind of interesting being the olive and the blue. The blue being out of stock. The green, I find the Charlotte Tilbury green colour story much more interesting than this green, and obviously there's a lot more shades there. So I don't know, possibly that's it. Possibly I'm just thinking, look, I'm waiting for Charlotte Tilbury, even though she has forsaken me, even though we've fallen out and we're not friends anymore. I still love her, okay? I'm still more interested in that green colour story that's a bit lighter and looks a bit more everyday friendly for me and my preferences. I think maybe that's why, maybe. I don't know. What do you think about these? I feel like on paper they're quite exciting, but in reality I'm not sure about them. Possibly because I haven't tried a palette from Victoria Beckham Beauty before. If you want a review on these, please let me know. Or are you equally not interested in them? Is it the price point, which seems quite high? I don't know. I'm not sure. You tell me, do you know? Because I don't know. I'm on the fence and I can't get off. Help me, I'm stuck. And finally, we have another mascara. This is the Lash Idole Flutter Extension Mascara from Lancome. Now, Lancome and I we have never really got along as far as their mascaras. I feel like I've loved a lot of Lancome products, from their foundations, their tinted moisturizer, their skincare, their lip products, their eyeshadows, a lot of Lancome products over the years that I've really enjoyed, but never really their mascaras since the Monsieur Big days. Monsieur Big was my ride or die when I first started my YouTube channel. So like 7 years ago, Monsieur Big was the only mascara I wanted on my eyelashes ever. And then I kind of started favouring more length and separation as opposed to volume. And Monsieur Big it's a big fat lash mascara, and it still does that excellently. Amazing epic volume, but it's more sort of like thick, clumpier, that sort of fat lash look, and I'm favouring something more spiky and separated these days. Since Monsieur Big, I've tried a fair few Lancome's mascaras, and they've just never really been my exact cup of tea and my preference for a mascara. But when I saw this one, first of all, I think the packaging looks gorgeous. Second of all, the brush is so interesting to me. It's quite spiky, but it's got these sort of like the gaps. It's like little teeth, like little barbed wires or something, which is really interesting. I can really see that like gripping the lashes and like coating them and really having excellent separation. So I'm quite excited for this one. I think the before and afters look amazing, but also realistic at the same time. Like, they don't look like they've been super edited or used on people with like the world's longest natural lashes. They look like realistic, amazing results. And this is exactly the type of lash that I go for these days in 2025. So I immediately ordered this. I'm in the market for trying new mascaras. I fell in love with the new Gucci one already. That's the mascara I've got on today. This sounds great. It says it offers fluttery super long lashes for 24-hour wear, flake free. It sounds a lot like it could be a fiber mascara, but I can't see anywhere in the description on Lancome's website where it states that it is one. So let me know if you know if this is a fiber mascara. Please let me know, because I know a lot of you guys love a fiber mascara and are always looking for a great one. So please let me know if it is one or not. A lot of the time they seem to keep that a secret for some reason, but it's on its way to me. I will be reviewing it as soon as it's here because I'm excited. There's something about the brush of that one that's telling me we're going to be friends. This is going to be the Lancome mascara that I fall in love with. So there you have it. Those are all of my thoughts on these new and upcoming makeup releases. Please, as always, share yours in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what you think of all these releases. Do you feel the same as me? Do you have completely different preferences? What are you excited for, and what are you completely repelled and appalled by? Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.